Let's set up a Wi-Fi network with Unifi network server. I already made a VM for my Unifi server, network server, which is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire it up. It's a Windows VM. And then we're going to install Unifi network server on this machine and configure our Wi-Fi so that we have Wi-Fi. Oh, that's right. I need to press Control Alt Delete, send keys, Control Alt Delete. All right. Okay. Fresh install. Love it. Something about a fresh install of Windows that just, it's always nice to start from scratch. Start fresh. No junk on there. It's just a nice clean install. Okay. I don't think I downloaded it yet. No. Okay. So let's go online. Oh, look at that. And I'm already on the site. Okay. So we just want to download. The site is ui.com/download if you want to get there. We want to get the latest version, and we're going to be running it on Windows. This was released February 3rd, 2025. Wonderful. Download, save, and up here it's downloading. Okay. Install. I will close this window down since we don't need that anymore. Okay, so now we're gonna start the server. Got an icon there. All right, now I want to open up the web portal, and this is now the first time setup. Oh yeah. So my server name. We'll call this just Unifi. I'm going to choose my country, and I agree to the terms and services. If you ever need to restore a server, or if you're building a new one and you had it previously run a Unifi network server, you can take a backup of it, and then you can restore from this backup. If you click here, you can upload your backup file, and the Unifi server will apply all the settings that you had previously, and then you're up and running pretty much like you had in your old system. We're starting out with a fresh install, so we're just gonna hit next. You can sign into a Ubiquiti account. You can make one online, and then you can sign in through it. But what we want to do is we just want to have this as a local account and not be a cloud account. So I will hit skip, and then I'll create a username. So now we're in the network server. So the first thing that we want to do, I already have my access point plugged in, and it's reset to factory defaults. So it's like unpacking it, plugging it in for the first time. So what I want to do, actually, let's go into system, switch this to dark because I like the dark theme. And we will, are there any updates? There are no updates available. Okay, so it's always a good thing to check. Make sure that you're on the latest version. Since we downloaded the latest version, I didn't expect there to be any updates, but you never know. Okay, and then we have a couple settings regarding updates. Once we adopt a device, we can specify when to update the devices. Automate device updates. Okay, so here it's at 3 a.m. That sounds good. Daily, sure. Nothing against that. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we can't do because I don't have any devices yet. Backups, auto backup, which are just stored under user's username ubiquity. Okay, so it's a local backup. Automated backups are stored locally and not synchronized to your UI account because I did not set this up with a UI account. Okay, then in here, we'll leave it. Most of the stuff should be good to go from the start. We'll leave everything alone, just the way it is. That looks good. Go back. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go to Unifi Devices. Normally, I should just see the access point pop up in here and then be able to adopt it. But since that's only possible if the server and the access point are on the same network. So the server is currently sitting on a 10.21.10 network, but the access point is actually coming up on 10.21.99. So since they're on different subnets, the Unifi network server can't just go and grab it. It's not designed to do that by default, but there is a way to do it, and it's called remote adoption. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to configure the access point to look for the network server at a specific IP address. So there's actually a little command that we just have to give the access point to tell it this is where you'll find the network server. Go and look there, and then it'll pop up into this window right here to adopt. So in order to do that, my device is already factory default, reset to factory defaults. But now I need to know where it is. For my scenario, I know exactly where it is. It's currently sitting at 10.21.99.21. And you can look this up in your DHCP server, in your leases, and you'll find your access point. In my case, I know that it's on that IP address. So then we just need to SSH into it. So we will be using Windows PowerShell for that. You can use another tool called PuTTY, which is also a good tool. But Windows PowerShell should be plenty enough to get this done. So we want to do SSH, and then we need the username of the default username of the device. And by default, factory default settings, when you SSH into a device, a newer device is UI for the username and UI for the password. So it used to be UBNT and UBNT, but the newer devices are UI and UI. So we'll go ahead and do SSH UI at, and then we'll specify the IP address of the device, which we know is at 10.21.99.21. Okay, so we're gonna get a warning. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? And we want to say yes. And now we need a password, which will be UI. Bingo, and we're in. So now we're on the access point. You can tell Unifi U7 Pro. And now all we need to do is run this little command. Set inform HTTP // I and then and then specify the IP address of our server, which is 10.21.99 10 dot what is the IP address on here? Let's pull up an IP config quickly. This thing is at 100. Okay, so 100. 10.21.10.100. And then we need to do semicolon 8080 / inform. So now we've given the device adoption requests sent to the server. Now we should find a Unifi device in here. Ah, look at this. Here's a U7 Pro. And now we're able to click the adopt button. So let's do that. Now we're adopting it. We can close all this now. We are done with this. Again, you wouldn't have to do all of this this SSH this configuration on the device if your server and the device are on the same network. Then it would automatically just pop into this list and you could hit adopt. This is just for scenarios where your server is on a different subnet than your devices. Okay, so now it's up to date. It's adopted and it's got a little green online light, which is great. So now we are able to go ahead and configure our Wi-Fi network. So let's go in here. Before we do that, let's add a couple networks. So in our scenario, we want to add our management network. That's going to be a third-party gateway. VLAN ID is 99, and I want to add that. Then I want to add a new virtual network, which is going to be WLAN, also a third-party gateway, and the VLAN ID for that is going to be 20. Okay, that's going to be enough for now. We'll leave the rest as it is. And now we can go and create our Wi-Fi. Our Wi-Fi SSID and password and all that. So for me, I'm going to pick a fun name. Here we go. Pick a password. VLAN ID is going to be, my WLAN is going to be 20. All broadcasting IPs, advanced. So if in this section we have the option to adjust certain things, for example, Wi-Fi band. So we're broadcasting 2.4, 5, and 6 gigahertz. So we can turn any of those options off. We can hide the Wi-Fi name, and fast roaming is usually a good option when you have multiple access points. And then fast roaming enables a quicker switch over as you move around. It switches to the best signal without authorizing or re-authenticating. So it's a quick switch, and it's some devices like this better than others. But for now, I think I'm gonna leave this at auto. Oh, actually, I just saw something down here. Here, security protocol. This is an important one. So WPA2 and WPA3. WPA2 is one that's been around for quite a while and used to be the best security protocol to use for Wi-Fi, but WPA3 came out and is recommended to use since it's more secure. But the problem is with older devices, especially if you have, I'd say about 5-year-old devices or older devices, and certain printers. Printers. Get a shiver every time I have to talk about printers. Certain printers, if you have a Wi-Fi printer at home, they're not a big fan of WPA3. So make sure to select WPA2, WPA3, and put the PMF option, which is part of WPA3, as optional. So if it'll check if the device is compatible with WPA3. If not, it'll go down to WPA2, and you'll still be able to use your Wi-Fi connection. Okay, so but the rest we'll leave at default. Actually, I'm going to turn off 6 gigahertz. I'm going to leave 2.4 and 5 gigahertz available. Oh, this is a good setting. Limits the Wi-Fi network to 2.4 gigahertz only with Special compatibility settings recommended if you're experiencing connectivity issues with 2.4 gigahertz IoT devices. I've seen this happen. For example, exactly the printer situation. This would just enable 2.4 for the printer with compatibility settings, which would make things much easier for it to connect to. Also, if you have a robot vacuum or anything that's an IoT device, would be good to enable that option. And that'll automatically disable a few settings, as you can see here. Since this SSID is mainly for laptops and cell phones, I'm not going to worry about this. But when I set up a separate Wi-Fi SSID for IoT devices, this is definitely a setting I would recommend to turn on, especially if you're having problems connecting your IoT devices. That looks good to me now, so I'll add Wi-Fi network. That is now in here. It's applying the settings, the Wi-Fi settings. It says it's getting ready. Now it's finished applying the settings. And now we can see, oh, there's already one device connected. And it's an excellent connection. And it's broadcasting 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Enable 6 gigahertz in Wi-Fi settings. Yeah, I turned this off. Okay, so that looks good. Oh, it looks like there's a couple other devices already connecting. And if you go over to the topology map, so this will give us a kind of an overview of what's all connected here. So you get your access point and then whatever devices are connected to the specific access point. It's kind of neat to see. If you have more access points, you can tell exactly, okay, this device is connected to that access point, the other device is connected to that one, and it just kind of gives you a neat overview of what's going on. As far as setting up a Unifi network server and connecting your access points and setting up a Wi-Fi network, this is how you do it. And we are up and running, and we've got devices coming on, and things are looking great. Hope you could follow along and learn something new. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one.